All right, let's start this podcast. You want to introduce us now, like last week, or should I introduce?
No, you can introduce.
Okay, well, welcome to the. Is it Unlikely Guys podcast or Unlikely Podcast? It's Unlikely Podcast, right? That sounds better.
Unlikely Guys podcast?
No, just Unlikely Podcast. That sounds cooler to me.
Okay, well, what you think is cool is not always cool to say.
The Unlikely Podcast. It sounds cooler to me. Maybe we should ask our listeners that. But yeah, welcome back to the Unlikely Podcast. I think we'll talk about it. Welcome back. This week we got Cameron.
Hey, what?
Fong. Yeah, sure. That's the next one. And me. Ryan is currently busy, so he's not here. And then yeah, let's talk, Cammy. Let's kick it off, man, with some catching up, dude. You've
Okay.
been in the UK. You've been back in the Scotland
Yes.
on vacation for the
I
past
have
few 9 days.
10. Yeah, 10 days.
10. All right.
10.
Well,
Um,
tell us, man. Tell us how it's been being back.
it has been a whirlwind of non-stop. So I got home and I'm just really up doing uni work, catching up with some friends. It's just been non-stop.
Well, tell us
Non-stop.
something, man. Be more detailed.
I have had... Actually, well, the main thing was I went up to Edinburgh during the week and I managed to get some uni work done, catch up with some friends, classmates, just to see how placement is going for them.
Yeah.
And I also spoke to some of the guys in the year below me because I was in the studio to see my tutors. So it was nice catching up with them and, well, I mean, seeing how great the uni's running their course. That's sarcasm, by the way.
Well, dude.
No, actually, let's talk about this. So I think, not to like shit on the uni or anything, but I think often a big university has a stigma with its name.
Yeah.
So I remember coming to Amsterdam, and you were talking about one university, and you were like, "Oh yeah, they're a really big university. They've got really good reputation and stuff." And it's kind of like that stigma where university has its own branding name already, and people associate that with, like, say for example, Oxford, Cambridge, AA,
Yeah.
UCL. You know, like they're big names,
Yeah.
and people recognize it as, oh my goodness, like it's Oxford and Cambridge. And I think people do get that with Edinburgh as well, just because it's more well known, and they automatically assume that, oh, it's a great university, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But in a matter of fact, I think it's very similar to every other university. There's always problems, the same kind of problems, administrative, management problems, course organization problems. Like, you've always got that. So I just... That's something I've realized in the past couple of years. Regardless of your university, there's always faults. Like, there's no such thing as, oh, just because it's a big uni that there's like no problems and you just have it so great and like blah 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 blah.
Dude, honestly, what I've noticed from like all the complaints ever from every single school ever, the number one complaint will always be it's not organized well enough.
Yep.
It's
Exactly.
unorganized. It's unorganized. This is unorganized. Communication. Those are the most general complaints I'll like always see, and it's like, of course, it can be true, but it's only when something like bad happened, like a bad grade, you would hear those. Like, people complain about the school. It's unorganized. It's this. It's that. Would you say the same thing with your school, with your university? I mean.
Well, it's not that I'm complaining, because I also understand, like, you know, people have lives as well. But also,
Yeah.
I'm saying this before I even submitted out my work. Like, I just wish there was a wee bit better organization, because there's some tutors and courses that run really well, and then there's other ones that are just like, it's all up in the air, and you're like, what is going on? Like, how on earth do you expect us to have X, Y, and Z done whenever you can't provide the right stuff for us, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this from a point of view after getting my marks. I'm saying this pre getting my marks, or even submitting work in general. Like, because I think if you're complaining after you get a bad grade, then obviously there's a reason why you're complaining. Like, maybe not as legitimate as how bad the organization actually is, but it's very biased towards the fact that maybe you weren't happy with your grade.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is merely coming from before.
I mean, it's when people would say that kind of stuff, I would always take it with a grain of salt, because I like that expression. But anyways, because most of the times I didn't experience it the way they did, even though they were in the same class as I was. Mm-hmm. Like with a course, like if you take an effort to, which I don't always do, like to write down the information, like who. Because usually with introductions, they tell you where you need to go. Okay, you need to go to this person for this kind of stuff, this person for this kind of stuff, and like all the information we just told you is available online. Yeah. And people don't put enough effort in that, I think. And then problem happens, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know who I need to go with." They send an email to one person, like, "No, you need to go there." They're like, "Oh, the communication is bad." Well, if you took a second to go online or like take some notes, I don't think these problems would exist. Mm-hmm. But bad communication or unorganized, I think there's always problems. There's always going to be problems. Communication will be the number one problem ever. Like, I don't know. So I think. So, but with a big reputation, I don't have much experience with that.
I just don't think it's as. I mean, obviously you have the name. I think that's literally why people go there. Because it's a name. And then if you graduate from there, it looks good because there's that stigma name there. But to be through it, it can also be pretty hellish, you know? Like.
Oh, definitely. Maybe that's why it's so hard or so popular, or it's hard.
But then is that really... I mean, it's not that it's difficult in terms of content. It's the lack of proper support or like information to really do the work. But anyway,
Isn't that way? I don't want to look. Maybe that's a thing, right? Maybe that's life. They want you to experience. Not that they do it on purpose, but
maybe just really want to semi-fuck with you a wee bit.
Yeah, like just like let you do this stuff with some hurdles, you know, like without not enough information, or like you don't get it on time, because that's all stuff that makes you like work harder, I guess, or like make you be more creative with
I mean it really makes, like, me personally, I work better under pressure, so I don't mind as much as some other people. But also at the same point, like, if you email your tutor, right?
Yeah.
You're expecting a reply back, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a genuine question and you email him or that or her, you expect a reply back. But you see, when they don't email back, it's like,
oh, dude, yeah.
You know, it's like things like that. I'm not meaning as in like they're not giving me like the course handbook or like the learning outcomes until like a week before or something. I'm meaning like genuine communication. Like, there's just like oblivious. But I don't want to like shit on the uni too much, because if they hear this,
no. But what you just said about the emails not responding, that's everywhere. That's, I think. Well, I cannot say this with 100% certainty, but I know that's
very common.
In my uni, your uni, I'd say every university, because it's literally because people. It's not, teachers are not like machines. Like, like the people that give those lectures and are like part of the course, they also have their own lives, and you know they have shit to do.
I know, but
they won't be able to reply all the time.
No. This is one email that was like, oh, goodness, I don't even know how long ago, and I've still not got a reply. And I've not that I've given up, but I'm just like, okay, you know what? If you're not going to reply, then that's it.
No, but
But remember, people that are in their role at university, okay, they have a professional standard to meet as a tutor. So if it's just not replying to me, okay, maybe you didn't see it, or you know, but you see whenever it's the full bloody class, then there's a professional standard issue right there. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. The full class.
Yeah, and plus,
I don't know.
I mean, you're being paid to be in this role, so if you're not willing to commit the time and effort to make sure that you're doing your job, then why on earth should we as students give you that time of day to do the work for you if you're not even able to do your job as part of our tutor to help us improve in our work, you know? Because the thing with our design works is we have to hand in submissions and then get feedback and then improve and then keep this. It's like a rapport between us the whole time. So if you're not doing your job effectively, how on earth are we going to learn effectively? You know, it's counterintuitive the way that it's kind of went. But I mean, I can't. That's the card that we're dealt.
Let me give you some advice, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Let me drop some knowledge on you.
Okay, drop it.
Listen, dude, because I've had this before, and my entire class also complained about stuff like this before.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one thing you can do, and you should do, is send a reminder. Because my teacher told me herself, like, she reads all her emails, but she cannot always reply because she's busy. She just goes to the ones that are urgent, and then she will try to reply to the other ones later. But she might forget it, you know, because it's already read, right?
That's bad.
So
that's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, but that's why she said, like, send me a reminder as well. So what I do is if I need a reply and it's been a while, like, I resend the email, like, as a forward to the same person saying, I sent you this email last week, still no reply. I'm wondering if you overlooked it or whatever. So you send them another email, and then it's at the top of their stuff again, and they're like, oh, let me reply to it. So maybe you should do that.
No. This is being gone, because the thing is, I sent this was in Christmas time, so I sent an email, didn't get reply, so I sent another one, didn't get reply, and I sent another one, and didn't get reply. And since then, I've only sent one, and I've not bothered. But this isn't just me. My class, the whole class, sends emails, don't get reply, and they send reminders, and they don't. They have to email another tutor to try and get reply. And the thing is, like, it's just there's a whole political scene within our design school, and it's very controversial in my perspective.
What?
In my perspective. But also, when you said that your tutor reads the emails, right? So that's actually her organization problem. Because the thing is, email nowadays, we are provided with facilities and tools on email accounts to ensure that you can do that, right? So if she's read it, she doesn't feel it's urgent, mark as unread or flag it or remind later, right? There's all these functions that you can use, but that's her organizational problem, you know?
But
and
keep
I'm not
in mind,
saying... Sorry.
You keep in mind that these teachers are usually also a bit older, like in like late 30s, 40s, and they it's not an excuse, but they don't use that kind of stuff, you know? They're not used to that stuff.
Even you said it's not an excuse. I don't know. I think it's just maybe my attitude to work. But if you're expected to be in that professional environment, you should be. I'm not saying like you have to know everything, but you know, like you should be harnessing the tools that you have in order to make you better at your job.
Yeah.
Or else,
but
it's kind of
we don't know. We don't know what kind of work they're doing. Like the primary work, because the secondary stuff is like the email and all that, but the primary work is like giving the lectures and like looking, like checking the test or whatever, and like checking the work. That might take a lot of time as well, like to carefully, because they have a professional standard to do that as well, like to do that to their highest ability to grade the work that's been done and all that. So
I don't think you can classify that as primary, because okay, think about it. If, say, for example, you emailed your tutor, or your whole class did, asking for such and such for the presentation or the exam that they're going to be marking in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
If she doesn't fulfill that, okay, if she can't answer you and give you correct responses and feedback, then how on earth are you going to improve in your exam so you can do it better? Because then if you get a worse grade on your exam, right, that reflects poorly on her, not just on you. Like, it might seem majorly focused on the student because you're the one that did bad, but it still reflects on their teaching at the end of the day. Like, oh, why has this department's grades dropped so significantly since you've been teaching this class, blah blah blah, right? So
Yeah.
that's still part of their job, you know. I don't think it should be classified as primary and secondary. Secondary might be like their interest, so maybe they don't teach that specific class, but they're helping or they're interested to help to teach another class and have an input. Then that's secondary. But primary should be focused. It shouldn't be focused on what necessarily they're doing in terms of email lectures and stuff, but it should be focused on what department or subject that they're primarily teaching. I think that's how you should be grouping it. So I think correspondence and communication with your students is just as important as you doing your own work, marking, assessing, etc.
But it can be tough though. Like that's the high standards you're doing right now, and it's like
don't get me wrong. I'm not meaning we're all perfect, but still there should be that effort to be made. You know.
Yeah. It's
like
yeah.
If I didn't reply to an email, in my work, people would be chasing me up. Like, I always make sure my emails are done and out of the way, no matter how busy I am, because you have to. If you don't reply to your emails to a client, to my boss, to anyone, like
yeah, but that's work. I don't think it's
down.
the same. I don't think it's the same though. It's not the same. It's not the same as being in university, because that's a business.
Work, though, Gabriel.
Yeah, it's their work, but
university is their business.
Yeah, but it's not a business. But like you're like, if let's say in your office right now, everybody would stop emailing. Like, some people, like maybe half of them, will stop emailing. It would have an impact on your money, like the revenue. But in university, you're like there for like at least a year. You're tied there for a long time, and then there's a lot of excuses to get out of that. Like, if it's a question about what like, can you say what your email was about? What was your email about?
My emails.
Yeah,
they can be any.
Give me one example. One example. On how something has to be done.
My boss might email me saying at 10:15 we're gonna have a group meeting.
No, at university.
University.
Email,
sorry.
Yeah.
Asking for feedback for my hand-ins. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, here's how here's something I see out of it. Like, okay, well, you should have known this already from class. Why didn't you pay attention at class or something? That could be a way out. Like, this was already told. Like, we told you this in class. The entire class should know this already. Didn't you take notes? Didn't you? I think in university there's ways out of that.
That's not out. That's not out.
It's not an out.
No, because
no, for the teachers. For the teachers.
No, I know that's not out for him, because the thing is, the content that we're taught in lectures and classes, okay, that is a base. But because it's a design school, whenever we start our design projects, we go off in our own way. So like, it's a lot of self-directed learning in terms of like learning different theories and practices to incorporate into our design. But then the whole point of having that tutor there is to ensure that the work that we're doing and all the knowledge that we're including actually makes sense and works. You know, like, they're teaching us practical ways to deal with it. Because like, we can condense it in a certain way, but they're directing us in a more practical way, like to fit standards of like perhaps UK practice and what is seen as best standard in the world. So like, it's essential that they're actually there, or else we're not going to learn a lot of this knowledge until we go into the workplace. But then they're not doing that, you know.
No, I think it's still tough because you want feedback, and I'm sure you're not the only one. You know, it could be like 20 people asking for feedback. I don't know how big your class is, but the work you're trying to get feedback on might be a lot. So for them to go check through it, it might take a while, and then that's on top of what they actually have to do currently, because you're not in class right now, you're working. You know, so people they're still having to lecture, like, because you guys are gone. I think they'd have to do another class, right? So. It might just pile up, you know, as like a lot of work, like a lot of work. So it might be hard. Like,
just to play devil's advocate, because like the thing is, I've already gotten over this issue. It's not really. It's just I don't feel it's very fair to a lot of other people, especially like people coming up. Because to me, like, if you're not going to mark my work, then well, that's not my fault. That's on you. I've done my best. But just to play devil's advocate right now, So he or he or she must have a requirement to do that work, okay? And you're saying he's very busy with his stuff and he might have been backtracked with all the work that's piling up. But he
Yeah.
also has to consider, like, I'm at work as well. If I can work the hours that I work in Hong Kong with the time difference and still meet your deadlines and committing that time to it, then surely you can do the same, right? Because I can guarantee for life that my working hours are more than his or her.
Yeah. But
Definitely.
but keep in mind, once you go home, you don't have to do shit. Once you go home, most of the time, maybe you still have to do like some uni work or maybe send some emails. But I think they have to do a lot of stuff like after work, and like it's. I think once they're home, it's not they cannot relax instantly. They have to like grade stuff. Maybe I'm just talking about general here. I don't know. And we might just all be wrong. I might just be wrong here, but I'm just trying to think what are reasons for them not
Yeah.
that they're not able to do this stuff because let me think. So they work all day. They have to get home, perhaps cook for themselves or for their family,
Mm-hmm.
then eat, sit down, chill. And at night they have to grade stuff, reply to emails if they have time. Probably not in your case.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's maybe a tough day. I don't know. A lot of stuff can pile up. I have no clue.
No.
I think the best way we can know this is to know what kind of workload they have. Like, we don't know how much they're working. We're just speculating right now, so it's tough to say.
Well, let me put this in. He's a part-time tutor, so he's only doing us.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what is he doing in the other time?
He works in a design practice.
Yeah. So, can't you like?
So that's the exact same as me right now.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. But you don't know what he's doing right now.
No, I know that. But you see, like, there's excuses, and there's just getting shit done. Like, if you're gonna, no, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna take on a role like this, right, then make sure you have time, or else don't commit to it. Like, what's the point? If you can't fulfill your professional standard, then like, there's no point. But anyway, it doesn't really matter anymore because at the end of the day, I've already accepted the fact that's how it is. So it doesn't really. I'm just gonna get my stuff done the way it is.
Yeah, but I just want you to know that you should also keep in mind that they also have to do stuff.
No, I'm not saying like everyone has to be perfect, but I mean, in the case of like 6 months to reply like one email at the start of the year, like that's a whole new level of different.
Well, my advice to you is just keep being annoying and then just keep sending emails.
No,
until they reply.
I'm done. Institution is not for me.
Yeah, man. I want to work after I'm done with like university. I just want to freaking just work. I don't know if that's the best thing. Maybe people are always talking about masters. I don't know if that's for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to. I want to get some experience in life. Just being in school all the time. Like we've been doing this for how long? Like since we were 4 years old.
Something years, exactly. Like I was just speaking to my friend yesterday, and he's decided not to go to uni. He's went to college to do 2 years, and he's just gonna work his way up. And he said, "University is just not for me." And like, great on him because I feel as if like sometimes I've wasted so many years at university.
Yeah, and at the end of it doesn't not like to be successful in life. You don't need it. You really don't.
If you've got work ethic and stuff, like it's possible to do it without it.
Yeah, because eventually, at the end, it's always about experience. Like your friend might work also for what you're doing, like a landscape architecture place, and he's just like maybe a consultant. I don't know. I don't know how complex it is, but he might get some experience that way, and like then he knows something about it as well. And then but he didn't go to university, and you did. But eventually, you will have the same experience, and then when you guys leave the firm or whatever, you can also go to another one, and because you can show I worked at this architecture firm, And it's like, oh, well, you didn't go to university, but it doesn't matter because you got this experience. So I think in the end, it's just what you've done with your time is more important than
it
what
depends
school you went.
also with what profession and sometimes because and some places obviously you need to have a certificate. Like say for example, if you're a lawyer, like you have to have graduated from law
Yeah,
school if you want to be
definitely.
but it's not always the case with everything. I know university gives you a quicker way. So like say for example, me and this person had the same experience, but I had a master's and they didn't have any, then I would be a lot more uncapped in terms of opportunities because I've had that master's. It allows me to go either climb quicker or go higher.
Yeah, definitely.
And I get that. But that's only if you want to do that, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's why there's so many people that graduate and their university degree is not. They don't use it for the rest of their life and they do something.
Yeah.
I think that's such a common thing now.
What I think about that is it's about choices you make in life. Because at the end of the day, the both of you, even if you have a bad, if you don't have any experience, like the scenario you just said about masters and not having one, eventually you can both be successful in your own way. Like, just because you didn't get hired in the company, it doesn't matter. Maybe you quit and go to your own company, and then you're the boss of your own company, and it's even it might become bigger than the company you worked at. You know, how many stories have you seen about that? Probably tons of stories about that.
Plenty.
I mean, it doesn't really matter in the day as long as we make use of our time, dude. As long as we just live and make the right decisions for what's best for you.
As long as you feel
knowing
fulfilled.
yourself.
Yeah.
Know yourself. Know your worth. Like the wise words of Drake. But you probably heard it from someone else, so yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah, so I think we should just focus on making the right decisions.
Yeah.
Well, making the right decisions, you cannot really know if it's something.
The right decisions for you, like as a person, rather than doing it for X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
We'll see about that soon, you know. Eventually in life. But for now, let's just focus on making the right decision, man. So hopefully this podcast was the best decision ever, dude. I think it is.
Always. People listening are like, man, these guys are really spreading some wisdom to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that's probably not true.
It won't be a crazy podcast every week, but it might be stuff like this that makes us think and hopefully someone else. But I think it's nice to talk about stuff like this, to reflect. And not have I don't think we'll always have every week our podcast will be crazy like the last one about how Cammy just has a fear for belly buttons or whatever.
Right, okay. That's like a legit thing.
I wish Ryan was here for that. I wish Ryan was here to talk about that, man. I hope we talk about it when he's back. Yeah. And let's do an announcement. Should we do announcements, man, about next week?
Yeah, you can announce it.
No, you can announce it, because you were the one that agreed to it, so...
Okay.
Give some background information.
So, you've probably heard a couple of weeks ago I was mentioning that we were planning to do a video podcast.
With our faces, you know?
With our faces. Well, what else would you be showing? So, to show our expression, and just, it would be an interesting, different kind of media for us to try out. So next week, on the Unlikely Guys podcast, or Unlikely podcast. We shall be filming while recording in video.
Yeah, showing our faces, our reactions, you know, so it's less boring, you know. So when you can see us laughing as well, then instead of just listening, because last week I wasn't nearly on the floor laughing, and maybe that's a nice thing to see.
Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting change for you all to see and observe.
Definitely. I hope I can make do the right settings. I think I had it today. I don't know. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's talk about this stuff, man. I see that there's a switch from subjects now.
Okay.
There's this research study that came out. It's like someone wrote a journal about this. It is actual research with about 1,000 people or something. I'm reading it from the New York Times, and they surveyed like 1,000 people, and they found out that people tend to damage something on purpose if they know there's a better version of it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Holy crap. That's consumerist behavior.
I guess I don't know what to call it. I didn't read it thoroughly, but here's the big thing of it. So people were damaging the most thing here. Let's see. Yeah, well, it was iPhones. They're looking, and the people were damaging their iPhones on purpose, like accidentally, not on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But wait, here's the title of the article: "Damaging your phone accidentally on purpose." So, if there's a new iPhone 7, like it is right now, people might accidentally let it fall in the pool or whatever, and I dropped my phone in the pool.
I have
to get a new one. Might as well get the newest one then. So it's not only with iPhones, but it's also with other stuff like I read something about perfumes and I don't know, things like shampoos. Here's an example: shampoos, sunglasses, toothpaste, and perfume. Found that they were more likely to be wasteful or careless with a product if they knew an improved version was available. So, yeah, that's the thing. I think I could see myself. I mean, I'm trying to think. I couldn't think of what I did, but maybe I did the same thing. I don't know.
I don't think I would do that. I would see it as too much of a waste.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I cannot think of an example in my own life right now, but it makes sense. Okay.
No, it makes sense, but I just couldn't picture it. I mean, if you really wanted a new iPhone, you just deliberately break yours. Like if I was younger, right, and I had an iPhone, and I was like, oh, I want a new one, and I broke it, my dad would not be like, oh yeah, it's fine, I'll just get you a new one.
No, I think this is upper class people or something
people that have a bit more money. Ass kicked in.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you broke what?
Yeah, I mean, if you really want a new one, you might as well sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Might as well get money back for it. Christ.
Yeah, and then the new phone is even a bit more cheaper because you already have some money.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I don't get that logic. Maybe that's a very specific kind of person logic.
Yeah, I don't know, but I thought it was interesting because I'm wondering if people see themselves in this. Oh wait, did I do that with that shampoo I had? Or I don't know.
That is really interesting, though. I wonder how many. If you have ever done this, please can you let us know and explain why you done it? I'm actually really curious. What? Man. Who in the right mind? Why did you think that was a good idea to just break something and then I don't get it.
I wonder if people will be honest about that.
Well, you can be honest with us. We don't judge. This is a judgment-free zone.
No, but that's a personal thing. Would you tell people you do that? Because people would think we think that's kind of weird to do, right? I mean, we don't mean it in a bad way, but it's it's kind of weird if you would do that, just to throw away something or break something. Kind of interesting, you know. So I'm wondering if people see this because where would this make sense? Would this make sense anywhere? Oh yeah, you should definitely do this here.
If you're rich as hell, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a scenario where if you do this, you might, it might be profitable for yourself. I don't know. In some way.
Claiming insurance? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's illegal.
But that's fraudulent, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we just started onto a big topic.
Yeah, that's fraud. I mean... I think people do this, but because it's some cases it might be hard to prove.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've heard this one before. So this person told me that she left her phone somewhere, and she said it was stolen.
Oh,
just so she would get some money, you know.
My goodness.
I'm like, okay, so they cannot prove that, and no, they can't prove that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I think that's fraud, you know. That's kind of tough. So yeah, I thought that was interesting to mention.
Yeah, that's like borderline. Yeah,
Consumer behavior.
consumer behavior.
So yeah, well, what else? You got something else to talk about?
That's an issue. I really want people to reply to that. Actually, if you have done that, please. Like, I'm really curious.
Yeah. Let's move on to another topic, man. You got something, or should I?
No, apart from that, well, you mentioned something earlier, right? Before we started.
No, I was just thinking about that Kendall Jenner thing with the Pepsi. Have you seen that?
The what?
Have you seen the Kendall Jenner from the Kardashians? They did a new commercial with Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Have you seen that? You're cracking up, Cammy. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Your phone is cracking up or something.
Sorry.
So yeah, have you not seen that?
No, they done a Pepsi advert.
Yeah.
Why on earth were they on Pepsi?
No, but here's the thing. So it's about the commercial. The commercial is like it plays in a what do you call that? A riot, not a riot, but a protest.
Mm-hmm.
A protest, and she's like doing a photo shoot or whatever during the protest, and then like a guy like signals her to come do the protest.
Mm-hmm.
And like they try to do this protest with her as well. It's the camera going on, and then she like they all stand in a line, you know, in facing the cops. You know how cops like do like a wall thing.
Yeah.
With like a barricade thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So she walks up to it, and hands a Pepsi, and that's like, oh, we defeated this protest with a Pepsi. And like I'm probably not explaining it well enough, but people were getting angry about it, and Pepsi is being roasted right now. They you should check it out because they issued a public apology. they just pulled all the ads from everywhere. The ads cannot be seen anywhere anymore. Well, you can find it for sure, but
yeah,
officially you cannot see it anywhere because they were like trying to like people were like, oh yeah, you're trying to say that like this Black Lives Matter thing can easily be defeated by or be solved by using a Pepsi.
Oh my gosh!
And like people are getting angry about it and all that. So I thought it was an interesting thing.
I'll be looking now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I did a great job explaining it, but
my goodness.
Yeah, man. I also saw a sad thing. It made me think about my house. It's like there was some guy who lost everything, like because of a flame. Like I saw this on the Humans of New York, that page.
Yeah.
They're currently doing like a travel thing, and I believe they're in Colombia or whatever in South America.
Okay.
And this guy said like his house went up to flames, and he lost everything, right? Just everything. And here's the kicker, right? Well, I don't know if this is the worst thing, but to me it might be the worst thing. Is that he said like, he lost all his pictures of like, pictures of like family, or whatever, of themselves, like just pictures, like actual pictures, that you print out, not online, but actual pictures.
Yeah,
and, like what would I do? Because those are, I've seen more stories about it. People losing pictures. Like there was this one family who almost lost pictures of their son who died, and those were the only ones they had of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, wow, pictures, because pictures, I think they have a lot of value to people, especially if you only have one version. Like, I would be sad if I would lose. I would actually be sad if I would lose like physical pictures of something.
Yeah, me too. Because when I got back, I was actually me, my dad, and my little brother and my sister were just sitting in his room and we were just chatting. And he brought out his pictures from a while ago, and those pictures of me in my teens, like back in the bigger stage.
I took a screenshot of that.
Oh, did you take a screenshot of
that? Yeah, I mean,
like seeing that back, I was like, damn, like this is because there's no other like copies of it. It's just those ones. So I was like, man, like that's so important to keep. So important.
Yeah, and if you just lose them out of nowhere, I think that's so sad.
That's it.
It makes me think a lot about how a lot of people say this, that they lost their pictures of a fire or whatever. I've never thought about it, but because it's valuable. It's like life. There should be a way. Maybe this is a new business idea, but there should be like a thing. It's not a business idea, but maybe it's a good thing to save these pictures online as well. Like,
I think you should scan them in and keep a documentary.
Yeah, like privately, you know, like not to put them on Facebook or something, but because it will be so sad. I think I would be so sad if I would lose pictures of myself when I was little, or my mom as well. Because we have like, I think you had it too, right? Like albums, just albums, physical albums of pictures, you know. So I don't know. I'm sad. I'm sad for that guy. I wish he could get him back as well.
Was this on the news?
No, this is on Humans. I just told you this. Humans of New York.
Oh, sorry, Humans. Yeah, sorry.
But it's been. I guess every time someone loses their house because of a fire, you can think of that as well. Like the pictures, not just that they don't have a house anymore, but also the pictures.
But that's something that some people like nowadays won't kind of relate to because it's all been digital since they've been kind of with it.
Yeah, digitalization. But I think that's memories. Just losing memories is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I agree. I have like a memory box of like lots of like memoirs that I've kept throughout the years.
Yeah. And if you would lose that, it would be pretty sad, right?
Yeah, I'd be pretty sad. There's a lot of important stuff in there.
Yeah, me too. I don't have a memory box, but it sounds interesting to have. So yeah, I think that's it, man. I think we should keep it at that for this week. It's a nice podcast, but chill out. And tomorrow you're flying back home?
Yeah, I'll be flying back to Hong Kong tomorrow.
And then back to work instantly.
And then back to work, yeah. Let's not remind myself of that yet.
Yeah. After this, I'm just going to study all day till Wednesday. And then I'm done with test, man. Then I can be alive again. So yeah, hopefully next week we'll see each other again in video this time.
Yeah, you will get us in that. Well, maybe not HD, but you're going to get a view of us next week.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, this has been the Unlikely Podcast. Cameron, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And let's go. Goodbye.
Peace.
Peace.